Goa is not just about beaches, parties, wine shops, and sunsets. That's what the influencers will tell you. That's what the travel shows will tell you. And if you also believe this, you know very little about Goa and the Konkani culture that flourished here for centuries before the churches were built. I'm a goddess Saraswat Brahmin. My ancestors lived in the region long before the Portuguese came. They worshipped at temples like Shanta Durga, Mangeshi, and Sapteshwar, gods that were rooted in our land and our language. But here's the thing no one told me while I was visiting my ancestral home in Goa, that this beautiful land we now celebrate was once one of the most violently colonized parts of India, that it witnessed one of the worst religious inquisitions in the world, where people were tortured for speaking Konkani, for worshipping our god, or simply for refusing to eat beef. This wasn't a peaceful conversion, it wasn't multicultural harmony, it was a 450-year-long project of forced Christianization, colonization, and cultural erasure. And if you grew up in India and don't know the story, it's not your fault, it's because no one wanted you to remember. So today, we will.
Before the Portuguese landed in 1510, Goa was a thriving cultural region, governed first by the Kadambas, then by the Vijayanagara Empire, then briefly by the Bahmani Sultanate. But unlike much of South India, Goa had a very unique structure. Villages were governed through the Gaonkari system, kind of a local self-rule, if you will, managed by the Brahmins and the Marathas. Temples were not just religious buildings, they were courts, they were banks, schools, and archives.
The god Saraswat Brahmins, my community, migrated here long before the Portuguese ever dreamt of India. We brought with us rituals, lands, systems, deities, and a civilizational memory rooted in dharma. Even under Islamic rule, most local traditions continued, but Portuguese changed everything.
You've probably heard this line, the Portuguese came for the Christians and the spices. That is not just a metaphor, it is a quote. Vasco da Gama and his men, hear this, genuinely believed that there were ancient Christian kingdoms in India waiting to be found. That is how deep the myth of a person called Prester John, a fictional Christian king in the East, ran in Europe. Everybody believed it. So when Vasco da Gama actually saw a Vishnu temple in Calicut, he thought it was a church. He actually prayed to the idol thinking that it was a saint. They were not just misinformed. They came with a mindset that said, if you're not Christian, you're definitely wrong. If your God has a form, it is idolatry. If you worship differently, you need to be corrected.
The Portuguese conquest of Goa was not just about trade. It was about a religious war, a continuation of the crusade, but this time in Asia. After capturing Goa in 1510 from the Adil Shah of Bijapur, the Portuguese began a process of complete takeover. Land, temple, administration, everything. But converting Hindus wasn't so easy, so they got help from the Pope. Papal decrees gave the Portuguese crown full rights over religious affairs in the East. Missionaries arrived in droves, Jesuits, Franciscans, Dominicans.
And then came the Inquisition. In 1560, the Inquisition was formally established in Goa. What does that even mean? It means people were tortured, burnt alive, mutilated for refusing to convert. Over 16,000 trials were recorded. The Adil Shah's palace in Old Goa was turned into the Inquisition house where confessions were extracted under torture. People were jailed for calling their children by Hindu names, for wearing a dhoti, for squatting to urinate, for cooking rice without salt. Yes, it was that petty and that brutal.
Francis Xavier is often called the patron saint of Goa. His embalmed body lies in the Basilica of Warm Jesus, visited by thousands every year. But did you know, he was the man who requested the Inquisition in Goa? In his letters, he brags about destroying idols and converting villages overnight. He mocked Indians for worshipping black and ugly gods. He said Indians needed punishment to fear God, and yet we are told to revere him. We name colleges after him. We call him Goinso Sahib. Why? Because no one told us what he really did.
Conversions in Goa were not peaceful. Yes, casteism was a problem in some quarters and it pushed people away from Hinduism, especially the lower castes. But most conversions actually happened under systemic coercion. If you wanted to keep your land, you had to convert. If you wanted to inherit your father's house, you had to convert. If your child accidentally ate beef in the Christian home, your caste would completely excommunicate you. You would end up losing everything. People did not just convert because they lost faith. They converted because they had no other way to survive. And yet, even then, many chose to resist and not convert. When temples were destroyed, people smuggled their deities across rivers and borders to rebuild.
The temple of Mangeshi, where my ancestors worshipped, was originally in Port Olim. It was rebuilt in Ponda outside Portuguese control. Priests risked death to carry out rituals. Families passed down the names of their Kuldetas in secret. This wasn't surrender, this was survival. quiet, powerful, civilizational survival. More than 300 temples destroyed, more than 450 years of cultural erasure, and yet no apology. The Vatican has never acknowledged the Goan Inquisition. No church authority has accepted responsibility of what has happened here. And worse, we ourselves have forgotten. Even in our school books, this history barely exists. Even among our families, we speak in whispers about it. Today, Goan Hindus and Christians live peacefully. That's beautiful. That should be celebrated. But peace doesn't mean silence, and harmony doesn't mean amnesia. Because effects of this history are still around us. In the names we carry, in the temples we rebuild, in the stories our grandparents never told us. To heal properly, we must remember fully. This isn't just about Portuguese history. It's Goan history. It's Indian history. Whether you're Hindu, Catholic, or atheist, the land has seen extraordinary resilience. And if you're Goan and you don't know this, that's not your fault. It's because this history was buried in shame, silence, and politics. But now, you know. Goa was not always what you see on Instagram. It was once a battlefield for the soul of a civilization. But we survived, we remembered, we rebuilt. And it's time we told the full story, not just of beaches and booze, but of resistance, survival, and pride. Because forgetting is not healing, silence is not peace, and history, no matter how painful, is still ours. Hey guys, if you like our videos, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel both. Sharan is doing a wonderful job.